Now the chances are you've been sent here by a loved one because you're hapless and hopeless in the kitchen. So today in this video, I'm going to show you all the tips and tricks to make amazing sweet, golden, crisp pastry, and then we're going to use it in a sweet cherry pie. Because let's face it, you're known for having a bit of a soggy bottom. Sweet cherry pie needs a sweet pastry, and that's the skill that you're going to do today. Teach you all the basics about making an awesome sweet crust to line our pie, and we'll do a lattice on top, plus a cherry filling.
Sounds complicated.
It's not, it's fine. One step at a time, it'd be really easy, even you can do it. Flour into our mixer, along with cold diced butter. And what we're going to do is take that and rub it into our flour. Now, if you do this by hand, do it just with the fingertips. What you're looking for is breadcrumb-like consistency. So it starts off as flour, very, very fine. And once the butter is evenly distributed and rubbed in, you end up with breadcrumbs.
Yep. I love your sign language for breadcrumbs.
For cherry pie. And now if we switch that off, just want to show everybody what breadcrumb consistency now looks like. Super fine, no chunks of butter. At which point it wouldn't be a sweetened dough without sugar. So that's going to go in there. Mix that all in. And then crack in the eggs one at a time. And basically, once the eggs are in there, it will just start to begin to come together as pastry. At that point, stop, because you don't want to knead it. Beautiful, and now it's just starting to come together. So grab all of that and tip it out onto a clean work surface, and then just kind of bring it all together. And as soon as you're happy, it's one lump, then we need to let it rest. So wrap it in cling film, and then that can go into a fridge to chill up for at least half an hour. An hour would be ideal. I made one earlier, which is rested and now nice and cold from the fridge. I'm going to take a chunk of this off for later on for our lattice, and you're going to roll it out. We're looking for a thickness just less than 1 centimetre, but enough to hold that cherry filling. Looking good. And now roll it back over the pin. So place the pin at the top and roll it towards yourself. Place that over and then lift it onto the tin. Unroll it. And then just use another little chunk of pastry, it's often good, just to kind of press in. That will just save you putting your thumbnail or fingertips through the pastry. And at this point, twist the pie dish and just cut round. Next up for our filling. Are we ready? What we have is a huge amount of cherries. Now you can use fresh cherries, you can use tin cherries. These are frozen cherries, whole, pitted, that we've defrosted. And what happens is they have an awful lot of amazing cherry liquid, but we don't need it for this recipe. So just pass it through a sieve to get rid of all of those. What we're going to do though is mix it with apple, which can be grated, and then we're going to combine everything into a clean bowl. So sugar, because our cherries, they're relatively sweet, but also quite tart, as is the cooking apple. Cornstarch or corn flour. What that will do is absorb into any liquid that comes out of the cherries and form a kind of custardy, jammy consistency. As soon as you've grated down to the core, what we're going to do is kind of squish our cherries a little bit just to make sure we've got as much liquid out as possible. All of that cherry goes into our corn flour and sugar mix, and then grab your apple with 2 hands and squeeze it over the bowl to get rid of excess liquid. Brilliant. Add all of our grated apple into there. Great indeed. That's the filling, good to go. For the lattice, we roll out our leftover pastry on a floured surface again, and we want to cut long strips out of this. I'm just going to slide a big metal tray under it because we want to keep this really cold. I'm just going to cut strips down out of our pastry, about finger length thickness, and then we'll give that a quick blast in the freezer. So what you do is you count from one end and you just fold that back halfway, and that one halfway, and that one halfway, and you lay one of those across the middle. Then you put them back again and you return alternate strips, and then you lay one across the middle and you lay them back again. Turn it round through 180 degrees and repeat exactly the same process.
I need to learn how to do this, so fold back that one. Okay, there.
One more. And that is the ultimate lattice that will sit on top of our pie in just a second. Now we only made this filling moments ago. We've got all the sugar and starch in there. This again will just get rid of any excess liquid that we don't want in the bottom of our pie. Then all of the cherries into the pie, and very carefully shimmy our lattice on top. And sometimes I find to lift it onto a pie, if you slip another tray underneath, it just makes the transfer a little bit easier. And then once you're happy that it's sealed, just as you did before, run around the outside with a knife, and then the very last part, egg wash, and this just really helps a pie go super golden. That goes into an oven at 180 degrees Celsius for 30 to 35 minutes. Because it's in a metal tin, it will cook the underside pastry as well as go golden on top. The cherry filling will bubble, stew, and set up with that corn flour, and we'll have cherry pie as soon as it's cooled.
Oh,
And
let's
look
eat
at
it.
that, a cherry pie. It's still pretty warm, it's definitely on the bottom, so we'll leave it for a bit longer. In the meantime though, a bit of cream to serve it with.
What?
You thought we were done, didn't you?
I thought we were about to eat that.
No, we're gonna have to serve it with amazing cream. So cream goes in. If you can whip that up with just a sort of heaped tablespoon of icing sugar, just to sweeten it. And then as soon as it's nearly ready to go, we're gonna add in a little bit of brandy. Now, it's entirely up to you. You can choose. You can go for a cherry liqueur to match the cherry, or I've gone for Calvados, so an
Nice.
apple brandy,
Apple.
which obviously we grated into it as well. Best of both worlds. Beautiful, and switch it off. Stop it just before it gets to the point where it's going to start to curdle. You don't want butter. Then add in the brandy and keep going a little bit more. And there we go. In just seconds, we have a very softly whipped cream. And then we'll just transfer it to a bowl to serve it.
Hurry up and eat this now.
So there we go. An incredible sweet cherry pie sorted. Now on the scale of 1 to sweet cherry pie, how's that?
This is putting a smile on my face 10 miles wide. If I can have done that, then maybe you've got a friend who you could send this video to and help them with their pastry skills. Because this is well worth it.
Everybody needs to try this.
Sweet cherry pie. Oh yeah.